Hi everyone. I wanted to go over the assignment sheet for project number 3. Even though we're not going to be starting this assignment formally until April 20th, I wanted to go over what you're going to be doing so that when you get your book, you can start reading it right away and you know the purpose for what you're reading for. So the handout is already available online. When you go to Canvas and you click on English 101, go to the Files section and click on project number 3. The assignment sheet is here, so I'm going to take a few minutes to go through this with you so that you have an idea of what we're going to be doing. This is similar to what I've done in class for the first 2 projects, but this way you can get an idea of what we're doing for this project. And when you begin to read, you know what to look for and what kind of annotations to make. So the rough draft of this project and essay is going to be due Monday, May 11th, and the final draft will be due Wednesday, May 27th. So for the final project of this course, we're going to be reading the novel $2 a Day, Living on Almost Nothing in America. Typically, I provide a variety of novels for students to choose from for this final project. And then in small groups in class, we have graded class discussions. However, given the circumstances for the rest of the semester, I thought it would be better if we all read one book together and are able to participate in discussion boards to kind of highlight and identify some key elements of the book as we begin to draft our essay. So we're all going to be reading the same novel. You are not going to have a choice for a separate novel like typical semesters. But I think that this one is really interesting. $2 a Day, Living on Almost Nothing in America, has to do with poverty within America. I think it's just a really interesting book to read, and it also teaches us a lot about how finances are used and government programs are utilized within our society. So instead of the small group discussions that we would normally do in a face-to-face class, we're going to have 3 discussion boards on Canvas, which I go into a little bit later on this handout. These are going to be helpful for brainstorming while we are thinking about how to construct our essays. Because of equity issues with some students possibly not having access to computers and internet, participation in the Canvas discussion boards is not mandatory, but I highly encourage you to do it, especially if you are still shooting for that A grade, which I know many of you can obtain. Then I do expect you to be participating in some of the discussion boards. After reading the novel, each student will choose an argument addressed within the novel to explore. And again, I'm going to go into this a little bit more in detail later on this handout. You can analyze the main argument or another argument within the novel. And you're going to research the topic and write a paper either arguing for or against the topic. So this is actually a persuasive essay. We have written a few research papers already, but this final one is argumentative. You're going to argue either for or against whatever topic you decide to write about. Your paper should include quotes from the novel as support, as well as incorporate at least 3, this should say 4 outside sources. I will go in back and change that. Your essay must be 1,000 to 1,500 words, which is about 4 to 6 pages, and in proper MLA format. Here, I say you should have at least 5 sources on your works cited page, including the novel. So that means the novel plus 4 outside sources. Okay, so if you scroll down the novel, this gives the synopsis of the novel. You can go ahead and read through that. I give some information on this on Canvas on how to purchase the novel or download it for free using Library Genesis. If you have any questions about how to obtain the novel, please contact me right away. Okay, so for the discussions, we are going to have 3 discussion boards on Canvas for this novel. Again, since everyone may not have access to regular internet, then these discussion boards are optional but highly encouraged. These will help you not only in deepening your understanding of the novel and the issues surrounding it, but also in writing your essay. The more you are able to participate in this, the better. Of course, if you are shooting for that A grade and you do not have regular and consistent access to the internet, please contact me and we can figure out a different way for you to participate in this to still earn an A grade in the class. So the 3 discussion boards are going to be as follows. One discussion board will be for quotes from the novel. So when you find a quote that stood out to you, please share it here. I also recommend you put the page number on that. You may also comment on others' quotes to help deepen your understanding of the novel. Since it's difficult as students to talk to each other in an online learning environment, this is a great way for you to list a quote and then peers to discuss what that quote might mean or what kind of impact the quote may have on our society. The second discussion board is going to be based on outside sources. When doing your research, if you find outside sources that are helpful in understanding the issues, please link them. This can be any form of outside source, a website, article, TED Talk, a YouTube video, commercials, etc. Even if you're watching a documentary on Netflix, for example, that can be considered an outside source. Anything that is giving you more information and you can bring that information from outside the novel into your essay is considered an outside source. And just as a reminder, you are required to have quotes from the novel in your essay as well as 4 outside sources cited and utilized in your essay. The third discussion board is going to be general thoughts on the novel. Here you can post your general thoughts and or questions about the novel. What kind of information stood out to you? What did you find the most interesting? What personal experiences do you feel comfortable sharing about the topics addressed in the novel? This thread will help deepen your understanding of the novel and the reality of the issues addressed here. So I encourage you to stay active on these 3 discussion boards as you're reading. And the more active you are on these discussion boards, the more you're posting, the more you're applying to peers, the better understanding you're going to have and the better prepared you will feel in writing your essay. So I highly encourage you to participate in those. If you scroll down to the 4th page of this packet, here are the notes on the individual paper you are writing. So you are going to choose an argument addressed within the novel, and this could be the main argument addressed. So for this book, $2 a Day, the main argument you can assume has to do with poverty in America. So maybe you're going to create some kind of an argument about poverty in America. Or maybe you're going to go into one of the elements that was discussed within the novel and investigate that a little further. That's also okay. You will research the topic and write a persuasive paper arguing either for or against the topic. Your paper should include quotes from the novel and support, as well as incorporate at least 4 outside sources. Your 4 sources do not need to be directly quoted if it doesn't fit into your paper, but as long as you have 4 sources on your works cited page that shows you looked into other sources and gleaned some kind of information and details from those sources. When organizing your essay, be sure to include an introduction with a clear thesis, a brief summary of the text and the argument it presents, body paragraphs with supporting points making the case for your argument with quotes from the text and outside sources, at least 1 rebuttal paragraph. A rebuttal is what the other side would say to this topic. So for example, if I wanted to write an essay that was arguing that I pro-welfare and I wanted to expand the people that could access welfare in our society. The other side, the rebuttal paragraph, what I would consider what would somebody say against that. And I will have another lecture in the next few weeks about that. But what would the other side say? So if somebody was arguing against the use of welfare, what might they say? And then finally, a conclusion where you restate your thesis and your main points and end with a concluding sentence. I will make sure to upload an outline for this essay, a sample outline that you can cover and follow along as well. The length for this essay must be at least 1,000 words, so somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 words, which is about 4 to 6 pages. Please be sure to include the word count of your body of your text, just the body, not your title or headings, at the end of your paper. Since you're bringing in outside sources, you need to have a works cited page with 4 outside sources. This can be any of the sources that you have used. You'll likely be doing a lot of research, and some of the information may be used in your paper, but probably not all of it. You are only required to include the source in a works cited page if you actually use it in your paper. So if you read a piece of text that had great information but you don't end up including it, you don't need to cite it. Now, the English Center is closed on campus, however, online tutoring is still available. You can participate in tutoring through Zoom, or you can utilize their online tutoring program, which has been available all semester long. This is not required for the assignment because of accessibility, but I do recommend you utilize this resource. So below I have included a message from the English Center. They have live tutoring available in the typical hours, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 6, and that's via Zoom. And you can enroll here, and I have some links here about that, or you can check the English Center's website. Or the other online tutoring where you can upload your essay. It takes about 48 hours and they can give you feedback on that, is also available. Your final paper is due Wednesday, May 27th. Our final class is the following Monday, June 1st. So that's the last day that you'll be able to submit your essay, although it would be considered late at that point. I will not accept any papers after June 1st because at that point the semester has ended. Lastly, formatting. Since this is your final paper, I expect proper MLA formatting for this assignment, and you will be using what's called parenthetical citations within your text. And I will give another lecture on how to incorporate those into your essay, but this basically means that if you bring in a quote from an outside source, you need to put where that source is coming from in parentheses within your text, as well as list that source in MLA format on your works cited page. So look for that lecture within the next few weeks. So I will be looking for proper MLA format and giving you feedback on that. If you have any specific questions about this assignment sheet, please let me know. And again, I recommend you get the book as soon as possible so that you can begin reading and identifying quotes and interesting parts from the text as soon as you start reading.